You probably have heard a lot of persons, a lot of fashion designers tell us that they are self-taught fashion designers. And you may be wondering, how are they self-taught? Now, being a self-taught fashion designer is not with the absence of a teacher. It is only with the absence of a direct teacher, like a one-on-one teacher who you are seeing either offline or online, right? The person knows you're learning from them, and you know you're learning. Each both of you know yourselves. That is a student that is taught directly by a teacher. But then, being a self-taught fashion designer, you probably have a teacher, right? But the difference is that this teacher does not know that you are his or her student. Now, your learning process or program can come by way of videos, reading books, studying people, pictures, and all that, and then practicing always, constantly. There's something that happens when you practice something always. You get to find out more ways to do it in such a way that it comes out really nice. So the point here is that being a self-taught fashion designer does not mean that you did not learn from somebody. You learned from somebody indirectly, not directly. You can go to YouTube, watch videos. There are people that made the videos. They took their time to teach, to learn, to acquire the knowledge they are passing for free anyway, even though the platform is going to pay them or they have other things in mind for which they are doing what they are doing. You're learning from them, but they do not know that you are learning from them, right? You buy textbooks, you read your textbook, you study your textbooks, you practice. There are teachers that wrote the textbook. They learned what they taught or wrote in the textbook for you to understand it the way you did and you were able to practice. If they did not write it in such a way that you'll be able to understand, you wouldn't know what to do, right? So you're learning from someone. Now, the difference is that the person who wrote the textbook does not know that you are learning from them. Okay, you watch people post their videos before and after transformation. You use your head to clock it and know what could have gone in between, and then you begin to practice. That is also a way of learning from people. Everyone is learning from one person or the other. Now, there's another kind of learning which I've mentioned before, is you constantly practicing. You've gotten the basics, you've learned something, no matter how small it is. The more you practice that, the more your brain has the ability or the capacity to explain it in more different ways. You saw it once, you make a mistake, you will be able to identify where the mistake is coming from, and you do it again in another way. Before you know it, you've become an expert or a professional in that field, knowing different ways to do it. And once a person makes mistake, you know how the mistake come about and how to tackle it. In that case, you're being self-taught by practice. Now, this brings us to being self-taught by practice and being self-taught by learning from people who do not know that you're learning from them. Everyone has this talent that you have the ability to see something and you're able to understand. But in a field where you were never born with, like fashion designing, nobody was born with the ability to cut clothes. You must have observed how it is done for you to do it, right? So whichever way it comes, self-taught is possible. You too can do it. But if you are bent on watching and not practicing, you're not going to go far with it. Everything boils down to you practicing what you have observed, what you have learned, and constantly practicing on it. Then you get to have more things to learn on your own, right? And equally be able to teach people about it.